brought to you by Gamevo.com. Get the cheapest game time on the market, as well as other Warcraft products. Check out the link in the description below. The expansion hasn't even started yet, but this one is very specific as a whole dimension crucial to our existence is in mortal danger. The Lich King is gone, the Legion is gone, the old gods are mostly gone, so with the major threats, only the Void Lords really exist. What could possibly come after Shadowlands? Will we face the Void, or will something entirely different happen to Azeroth? So far, Shadowlands is one of the more unique and experimental expansions. Instead of going to different worlds or fighting demonic legions, we're actually going to a different plane of existence, seeing death itself and the afterlife of Warcraft, which is an excellent way to reuse some old characters and really add some excellent lore to them, or on the other side, also a possibility to completely ruin their storyline. Nonetheless, despite facing probably the worst enemies so far, as before we faced terrible enemies, but at least you could die, now you can't even do that, and I see the Shadowlands as sort of a transitional, probe type of an expansion. Throughout the past few years, we've gotten a hint here and there and began uncovering the mystery of the light and the void and realizing that it is far from black and white. I think the Shadowlands could be the deepest we're going to go in regards to the storyline and that we might finally get to the core of the matter. At the moment, the actual biggest threat that we have are the Void Lords. They are the worst evil in the universe and are even more dangerous than the Burning Legion, as Sargeras created it to combat them in the first place. We have never actually seen them, and we've only fought their creations thus far. My opinion is that Shadowlands will finally be what will bring us close to them. We still don't know much about who the jailer is, let alone what is going to happen in the Shadowlands, but I have a feeling that we will get our first close contact with the Masters of the Void pretty soon. Now, how do I see this happening? Well, I see us closing the rift between the material plane and the Shadowlands to get the world back to normal, and it totally makes sense for the Lich King to return. Most of the Scourge is going to be gone by that point, but I can see Bolvar getting his old spot back on holding the weight of undeath. Possibly as a reformed Lich King, even more of a good guy and not really a tortured soul carrying the weight of the world with all that pain. At the same time, the Void invasion would occur, or even better, the Void might seep through this rift that is created while we're fighting in the Shadowlands. We know for sure that the Void Lords could not manifest themselves in the material plane, but maybe they can do something in the Shadowlands and they can use the Shadowlands to reach Azeroth and to get to our world soul that they prize so much. So before we close the portal to Shadowlands, we might face off an entirely new invasion. I honestly think this is the most likely, but I also see a few other things happening. For one, we know that the light is not so good as we once thought, as it was evident with the tyrannical Draenei on Alter and Draenor after we left, like what they did to the orcs. We could get attacked by the Light Inquisition, or it might clash with the Void with us caught in the middle. Next, while the Burning Legion is defeated, the demons obviously still exist and Sargeras is only imprisoned. Something is definitely possible with him, maybe as a purified titan or even a more insane version of him that embraces the Void and becomes a Void Lord himself. Sylvanas will be a key player in the Shadowlands, and what her actual motives are will determine the future. Maybe she really is trying to become the biggest evil in the universe, but Sylvanas could also be playing the jailer in order to get the power to fight off against the Void. Regardless, personally, I would definitely like her story to end as soon as possible, as I really wouldn't want to see yet another Sylvanas-centered expansion and the 101st Sylvanas scream. Now, there is a theory going around that time passes a lot differently in the Shadowlands as opposed to Azeroth, and this could mean that we might get a few new zones, like a revamp of the zones, sort of similar to what happened in Cataclysm. This would be so needed, as really when you see the newer towns, even from older expansions like Legion, for example Suramar, you realize how lackluster major capitals like Orgrimmar and Stormwind are. This could at the same time be tied to the Void invasion, giving even more of an excuse to create older zones. Next, aside from the major threats, there are still many worlds out there that could either be used in a patch or as an expansion in itself. For example, Natreza, the home of the Dreadlords, which was mostly destroyed. Imagine an entire Dreadlord expansion. We also have Karesh, the world of the Ethereals that was destroyed by the Void Lords. This could be an excellent introduction to the Void invasion and the actual nature of the Void Lords. There are also many other planets out there that we've only heard from some random hint here and there that would be excellent sources for brand new lore. Lastly, something could be happening with our World Soul waking up. The sword is still left in Silitus. Some speculate that Azeroth will wake up and take on the sword. What this will mean for us, no one can really tell. Will the planet just disappear, or will the Titan get out of Azeroth in a different form? Obviously, I see the latter as the most likely, but even then, who knows what this would accomplish? Maybe we lose some essence or even a source of magic. A really cheesy idea that I can actually see Blizzard doing is that this would be the end to all wars, as the turmoil within Azeroth was creating all the conflicts within the mortals, which would ultimately end the Horde and the Alliance conflict. So the possibilities are endless. In terms of major threats, we really only have the Void Lords left, but there are still many avenues for Blizzard to explore and to create brand new lore. Whether it is the other side of Azeroth, the Void Lords, or a new legion, Shadowlands should definitely provide some answers as to what we can expect. Thank you for watching. Check out if the Night Elves will ever get vengeance by clicking on the screen, and also check out the second channel, Doran's Academy, for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.